Elbaf is an arc many One Piece fans around the globe have been chomping at the seams to get to, dating all the way back to Little Garden with our good friends Dory and Brody. The deeper we've gotten into the story, the more that anxious anticipation for Elbaf has grown, and now with recent events in the manga, it is clear that not only is Elbaf the most likely destination following our adventures on Egghead, but Elbaf is primed and poised to be one of Oda's greatest hits. And I know that is one hell of a statement to be making, considering we haven't even left Egghead for Elbaf yet. However, given the setup here, given what Oda is clearly building towards, I think it is safe to assume with 100% certainty that Elbaf is going to be a masterclass unlike any other we've seen post time skip. There is a number of different reasons as to why I believe this, but perhaps the most important reason is that Elbaf has long been speculated to be sitting comfortably under the banner of Red Hair Shanks. Now, it's not anywhere near confirmed that Elbaf is actually the territory of Red Hair Shanks, but to me, in my honest, humble opinion, it makes too much sense for Elbaf not to be Shanks' territory, and I would honestly be very surprised if it weren't the case here. Luffy and Shanks' reunion is imminent. Imminent as in that's happening in the very, very, very near future. Luffy's a great pirate now, man. This is a guy who essentially led a charge against 2 emperors of the sea and won. How much greater can one man possibly get than that? Well, besides being king of the pirates, I guess. Luffy has fulfilled his end of the bargain. All that's left is for these two to finally reunite, and the island of Elbaf couldn't be a better setting, a better location for a meeting 25 years in the making. So let's operate under the assumption going forward that Elbaf is in fact the territory of Red Hair Shanks. If this is the case now, there is a reason I believe that Shanks has rule over Elbaf, and this is because Elbaf is the location of the final missing road Poneglyph. The final missing piece to the One Piece resides on Elbaf. I know that is a big assumption to be making, but just bear with me, hear me out. I am not pulling this out of my ass. I would not present this idea to you lovely people if I didn't have my Carfax. By the end of this, you're gonna be like, that actually makes sense. So why exactly would the last missing road Poneglyph be on Elbaf? First off, let's recall for a second, deep within the Holy Land of Merijois inside of Pangaea Castle, we know lies a giant straw hat, right? Who else could this enormous hat belong to other than an enormous human being? I am under the impression that this enormous figure was the last man the world knew as Joy Boy. And I'm sure you're thinking,
well, that's a cool theory and all, but what does that have to do with the last missing Poneglyph?
Be patient, young one, we're getting to that. The point I'm getting at here is that if Joy Boy was indeed a giant like I am assuming that he is, isn't it a logical conclusion to make here that one of the royal Poneglyphs would be, well, in the land of the giants? That to me checks out. It also checks out because it's pretty obvious that giants are going to play a significant part in the endgame of One Piece. Giants have been a fascination of both fans and characters within the actual One Piece world for the longest time. We've seen children forcibly turn into giants. We've seen giants being artificially created with the numbers. We've seen giants back on Little Garden, we've seen giants back in Enies Lobby, we've seen giants in Thriller Bark, we've seen giants in Sabaody. The list goes on and on and on. This goes deeper than just wanting to create giants for the sake of military purposes. Oda is intentionally putting an additional emphasis on giants within the story, and there is a great reason for that. The reason being that I am pretty sure that Joy Boy himself was a giant. And think about this. This is just a cherry on top of my theory. Out of all of those carrying the initial D that we have met in One Piece, only one of them has been a giant. Jaguar D Saul, who we found out recently is alive and currently in hiding on the island of Elbaf. And just like our rubbery protagonist, Joy Boy was probably also a D. Between the D, Joy Boy, and the giants, all of this somehow connects, and we're gonna find out how exactly it connects once we get to Elbaf. And let's not forget that on Elbaf is centuries and centuries worth of knowledge that was saved by the giants during the destruction of Ohara. Within these documents is information far beyond our comprehension. Once we get to Elbaf, we might not come to understand the full scope of Joy Boy, his presence, and his role in the story just yet, but we're definitely gonna get a massive lorddom that's gonna give us a great idea as to who this man was and why his name was so wildly renowned throughout the One Piece world. I said all of that to say that Shanks is on Elbaf awaiting the next man who will be known to the masses as Joy Boy. That's why I believe that the final road Poneglyph is on Elbaf. Shanks is basically playing watchdog. He's watching over the final road Poneglyph to ensure that the One Piece doesn't fall into the wrong hands, to ensure that the One Piece doesn't fall into the hands of somebody who could turn the entire world upside down in a heartbeat, i.e. someone like Blackbeard. If you remember, back during the Paramount War, Whitebeard told Teach that he is not that guy. He is not the one who Roger is waiting for. Shanks, as the apprentice to Goldie Roger, he's keeping an eye over this Poneglyph, so when somebody arises who can take the mantle of Pirate King, they would have to go through him. As fate would have it, Luffy is currently in this position. When Shanks and Luffy reunite soon, they're not gonna have an all-out death match. Shanks is not gonna be revealed to be the final villain of the series or any cliche garbage like that. Shanks will be basically kind of filling out Luffy to see if he's ready to be the Pirate King, if he's ready for the responsibility that comes with that. Luffy's whole world is about to change because he has no idea who he is. He has no idea how significant the Nika fruit is, and I am certain that on the island of Elbaf, Luffy is in for a huge reality check. This guy is a much bigger figure than he could have ever fathomed. But Luffy won't be the only one getting all of the shine and all of the characterization in Elbaf. There were two other characters who I feel very strongly are prime and due for some much needed characterization in this arc. The first of whom being Eustace Captain Kidd. In One Piece chapter 1071, we see the Kid Pirates nearing Elbaf, and their being involved in this arc to come makes me all the more excited to get there. Eustace Kidd is somebody who a lot of people were a little disappointed with coming out of Wano Country, and that's understandable. While he did look really impressive against Big Mom, his character arc kinda missed the mark, on the surface at least. Kid was always destined to play a major role in the endgame of One Piece, and it is great to see that Oda has not deviated from that course at all. Elbaf would be where Eustace Kid truly shines. Given the pre-existing beef between the Kid Pirates and the Red Hair Pirates, another encounter between these two groups seems quite inevitable, I think. Eustace Kid wants the One Piece just as bad as Luffy does. That's why he's going after the quote-unquote man with the burn scar. Not to mention that Kid is also one of the alleged killers of Big Mom. How will the Giants of Elbaf receive him, considering he incapacitated a monster who once laid unspeakable damage to their island? What Eustace Kid didn't get in Wano Country, he's gonna get in Elbaf. Oda is clearly cooking something up with his character, and none of us are ready for what Kid is about to do in the future. The other character, the second character who I think is gonna get immense levels of character development in Elbaf is, you guessed it, Usopp. So Usopp. It feels like it's been a millennia since Usopp got any sort of a meaningful character moment in this series, and that's wild to say because pre-time skip, Usopp was one of the most developed Straw Hats in the entire crew. But man, this guy has not gotten that same level of love whatsoever. In Wano Country, an arc where every single Straw Hat got to shine in some capacity, Usopp was deprived of that. Usopp's last big character moment was all the way back in Dressrosa, and that was 7 years ago. 7 years it's been since Usopp has had a meaningful moment on screen, and that is absolutely egregious. However, if there's any solace in that, it's the fact that Oda is gonna do right by Usopp in Elbaf, and there is no doubt in my mind about that. It is Usopp's dream to be a brave warrior of the sea, just like the giants of Elbaf, and his bravery will be challenged and displayed like never before in the land of the giants. Usopp has been wanting to see Elbaf with his own eyes for 95% of this story's serialization. There is no way, there is no shot in hell Usopp doesn't come out of Elbaf looking like $1,000,000. Now, I'm not one of those people who thinks that Usopp is gonna die in Elbaf, because nobody dies in One Piece, let alone a major character. Come on, let's be for real here, people. But Usopp is definitely gonna step up and show out in a really big way, and I cannot wait to see what Oda has in store. The Elbaf arc has all of the potential in the world to be yet another Oda slam dunk. Given all of the characters who can be involved in this arc, it's no doubt gonna live up to the hype. This has been a long time coming. Oda has been building up to Elbaf for literally hundreds and hundreds of chapters, and it's about to come to a boil very soon, and what we see on Elbaf is gonna blow our minds. That much I'm sure about. But that is all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, you better be smashing a like button as we speak. I ain't playing around. Hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, welcome to the kingdom and subscribe. Help me help you, because when you subscribe to the channel, you are guaranteed some of the very best One Piece content on the market. You guys be easy, enjoy the rest of your lovely day, and I will catch you fine people on the flip side. See you.